The soft static of the baby monitor was my constant companion during late nights at the home office. 3-year-old Todd's gentle breathing usually helped me focus on spreadsheets and investor reports. But tonight, that familiar white noise carried something else, something that would shatter my world forever. My name is Neil, and until tonight, I thought I had everything figured out. Successful tech startup, beautiful wife, perfect kid. Now I'm sitting here, hands trembling over my keyboard, trying to process what I just heard through my AirPods. It started when I heard the bathroom door creak through the monitor, the one in Todd's room that Angela insisted we keep running, even though he's well past the baby stage. I was about to disconnect when I heard her whisper. "Everything's set up perfectly," she said, her voice barely audible. "Once he's dead, that trust fund's mine." My fingers froze over the keyboard. The sound of running water nearly drowned out her next words. "He thinks the baby is his. What an idiot!" The world tilted sideways. My stomach lurched as if I'd been punched. I yanked out my AirPods and held them in my shaking hand, staring at them like they were something alien. I forced myself to breathe. 1 breath, 2 breaths. The monitor was still connected to the pods. It had to be some kind of mistake. A joke. A misunderstanding. I slipped 1 AirPod back in. "Already moved some money," Angela was saying. "Jamie says we should wait another month before—" The water shut off. I heard rustling, then her laugh. That soft, melodic laugh I used to love. "Baby, I've got to go. He's probably still working." My legs moved on their own. I found myself standing in Todd's doorway, watching him sleep. His little chest rose and fell peacefully, dark curls falling across his forehead. How many times had I noticed he didn't look like me? How many times had I brushed that thought aside? "Love you," Angela's whisper carried through the monitor, followed by the click of her phone. I heard her footsteps in the hallway. Quick, practiced movements took me back to my office chair. The spreadsheet blurred before my eyes as her perfume drifted in. "Still working, honey?" She leaned against the doorframe, wrapped in her silk robe. Her smile was exactly the same as always. Warm, loving. How had I never seen through it? "Yeah," I managed. "Big presentation tomorrow. Don't stay up too late." She blew me a kiss. "I'm heading to bed," I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. As her footsteps faded, I opened my bottom drawer and pulled out the bottle of whiskey I kept for celebrations. This felt more like a wake. My phone buzzed. A text from Angela. "Love you." I stared at those 2 words, remembering how she'd whispered them just minutes ago. But not to me. Never to me. The whiskey burned going down. I opened my laptop and started a new document. At the top, I typed, "Evidence." Below that, I added the date and time. Then, baby monitor recording, bathroom conversation. Another sip of whiskey. My hands had stopped shaking. The initial shock was wearing off, replaced by something colder, harder. I had built my company from nothing, turning lines of code into millions. I knew how to solve problems, how to think strategically. Angela thought I was an idiot? Fine, let her think that. I reached for my phone and opened my contacts. Eduardo, my attorney, always worked late. He answered on the second ring. "Neil, what's wrong?" "I need your help," I said quietly. "But first, I need you to tell me everything you know about recording laws in our state." The next morning, I watched Angela make breakfast like nothing had changed. She hummed while flipping pancakes, occasionally glancing at her phone with that secret smile I used to find endearing. "Daddy!" Todd ran into my legs, almost knocking me over. I lifted him up, studying his face with new eyes. The dark curls, the olive skin tone. Nothing like my blonde hair and fair complexion. "Morning, champ." My voice cracked slightly. "Neil, can you drop Todd at daycare today?" Angela asked, sliding pancakes onto plates. "I have an early appointment with my trainer." Jamie. The trainer I'd hired for her last year as an anniversary gift. The pieces were starting to fit together like a sick puzzle. "Sure," I said, keeping my tone casual. "Which trainer is it again?" "Jamie." She didn't flinch, didn't hesitate. No, Sarah. Jamie left the gym months ago. Lie number 1 of the day. At daycare, I lingered longer than usual, watching Todd play with his friends. A photo on the wall caught my eye. His 3rd birthday party 2 months ago. I counted backward in my head to when Angela and I first met. Mr. Neal. Riley, Todd's favorite teacher, appeared beside me. Everything okay? Yeah, just... I pointed to the photo. When was Todd born again? The exact date? Riley checked her tablet. March 15th. Why? 4 years ago, I was in Singapore for 3 months, launching our Asia office. I didn't meet Angela until after I returned in May. The math didn't work. It never had. Back at my office, I pulled up old photos on my phone. Angela and I at our wedding. Her pregnancy announcement. Todd's birth. Each swipe felt like ripping off a bandage, revealing wounds I hadn't known were there. My assistant knocked. Eduardo's here for your meeting. Eduardo entered, closing the door firmly behind him. You look like hell. I need to know something. I showed him the photos. If Todd isn't mine, what are my rights? He sat down heavily. Start from the beginning. I played him the recording from my phone. I'd managed to save the audio through the baby monitor app. His expression darkened as Angela's whispered plans filled the room. First, he said, we document everything. Bank records, text messages, photos. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Angela. Lunch today? Miss you. Another buzz. The trust fund paperwork came. Should we review it tonight? Eduardo read over my shoulder. Don't change anything about your routine. Act normal, but we need to move fast on protecting your assets. I need to know for sure about Todd, I said. About everything. I know someone who can help with surveillance. Discreet, professional, and a lab that can run DNA tests without raising flags. I nodded, my throat tight. Do it. That evening, I sat across from Angela at dinner, watching her talk about her day, about her workout with Sarah, about plans for Todd's preschool. Every word might have been a lie. Oh, she said, reaching for her wine. I was thinking about adding my name to your crypto wallet for estate planning purposes. I forced a smile. Good idea. Let's talk to Eduardo about it. Later, after she went to bed, I stood in Todd's room again. He clutched his stuffed dinosaur, peaceful in sleep, innocent in all of this. My phone vibrated. Eduardo. Lab kit will be delivered tomorrow. Surveillance starts Monday. Remember, act normal. I touched Todd's curly hair gently. I'm sorry, buddy, I whispered. I'm so sorry. In our bedroom, Angela's phone lit up with a notification. I caught a glimpse of the name before it faded. Jamie. The DNA results arrived in a plain white envelope. I sat in Eduardo's office, staring at it for a full minute before opening it. Want me to read it? Eduardo asked. I shook my head and pulled out the paper. One number jumped out. 0.0%. The room spun. I lurched forward, barely making it to Eduardo's trash can before emptying my stomach. Here. He handed me a bottle of water. Take a minute. After I'd rinsed my mouth, he spread photos across his desk. The surveillance team had been thorough. Angela entering a gym at 10 a.m. Angela leaving at 2 p.m. Angela and Jamie in his car, her head thrown back, laughing. Angela and Jamie entering a hotel. There's more, Eduardo said quietly. The financial tracking came back. He pulled up a spreadsheet. Regular transfers from our joint account to one labeled JM Fitness. Small amounts at first, growing larger over time. How much total? Just over 200,000. I laughed, a hollow, broken sound. At least now I know what she meant by estate planning. Neil. Eduardo's voice was gentle. There's something else you need to see. He played a video on his laptop. Security footage from our house. Cameras I hadn't known about. Angela in our kitchen with Jamie, Todd sitting at the counter. Say hi to Daddy. Angela's voice came through clearly. Todd waved at Jamie. Hi, Daddy. I stood up so fast my chair crashed backward. Turn it off. We have enough, Eduardo said. We can file today. No. I steadied myself against his desk. Not yet. She wants to play the long game? Let's play. What are you thinking? She's been careful. Small transfers. Secret meetings. But everyone slips eventually. I pulled out my phone, showing him Angela's latest text. Crypto wallet access? For estate planning? Eduardo's eyes narrowed. She's getting bold. She thinks I'm an idiot, remember? I smiled grimly. Let's use that. Back home, I found Angela in the kitchen with Riley, our part-time nanny. They fell silent when I walked in. Everything okay? Angela asked, too casually. Great. I kissed her cheek. Hey, about that crypto wallet, I set up access for you. The login details are in my office. Riley dropped a sippy cup. Angela's eyes lit up for just a second before she controlled her expression. That's thoughtful of you, honey. After Angela left, Riley touched my arm. Mr. Neal, there's something you should know. What is it? She glanced toward the door. Jamie's been here. When you're at work, he tells Todd to call him Daddy. I squeezed her shoulder. Thank you, Riley, for everything. In my office, I watched through the security app as Angela logged into what she thought was my crypto wallet. In reality, it was a dummy account I'd set up. Every transaction would be tracked, every move recorded. My phone buzzed, a text from Jamie to Angela's phone, intercepted by the spyware Eduardo's team had installed. Did you get access? Angela's reply. Just did. Give me a week to move it all. Then we can finally end this. I forwarded the exchange to Eduardo, adding, time to set the trap. His response came quickly. Divorce papers ready. CPS notified about custody fraud. Police report drafted about financial crimes. Just say when. I walked to Todd's room, where he was playing with his toys. Hey, buddy, want to help me plan a surprise for Mommy's birthday? He nodded eagerly. What kind of surprise? A big one, I said, watching Angela's reflection in the window as she hunched over her phone, probably texting Jamie. The biggest surprise ever. I sat in my parked car outside Jamie's apartment complex, watching Angela's Mercedes pull into a visitor spot. She checked her makeup in the rearview mirror before heading inside. The same routine every Tuesday and Thursday while Todd was at daycare. My phone buzzed. Eduardo had sent the latest surveillance report. I opened the video feed from Jamie's apartment, courtesy of the tiny cameras we'd planted last week. The audio came through crystal clear. Did you get the money moved? Jamie's voice. Most of it. Angela's laugh. God, he's such an idiot. Gave me full access to his crypto wallet. What about Todd? Once Neil's gone, we'll tell him you're his real dad. He already loves you more anyway. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. On screen, they were kissing now. I forced myself to keep watching, to document everything. When? Jamie asked. Soon. I've got something planned for after my birthday dinner. She pulled out her phone, showing him something. See? Untraceable. By the time anyone figures it out, we'll be in the Caymans. My phone rang. Riley. Mr. Neal, I'm at the house with Todd. Your wife's friend Sylvia's here. They're talking about you in the kitchen. I think you should hear this. I switched to the home security feed. Sylvia sat at our kitchen counter while Angela paced. The trust fund's worth millions, Angela was saying. Once Neil's out of the picture, it all goes to Todd. And since I'm his guardian... Sylvia looked uncomfortable. Angie, this is crazy. Neil's been good to you. Good to me? Angela laughed. He's boring, safe. Jamie's exciting, young. And he actually is Todd's father. Sylvia gasped. What? Oh, please, you knew. Everyone knew except Neil. Remember that fitness retreat 4 years ago? Where I met Jamie. Do the math. I ended the feed, my hands shaking as I dialed Eduardo. Tell me you got all that, I said when he answered. Every word. The police are very interested in those untraceable plans she mentioned. What about CPS? Building their case, with the DNA results and these recordings. He paused. Neil, are you sure about waiting until her birthday? We could move now. I watched Angela emerge from Jamie's building, fixing her hair. No. She wants to play with my life? My money? I swallowed hard. My son? Let's give her the birthday surprise of her life. That evening, I sat through dinner with Angela, Todd between us. She kept checking her phone, smiling at messages I could read in real time thanks to the spyware. Jamie. Miss you already, baby. Angela. Soon we won't have to hide. Jamie. Can't wait to be a real family. Everything okay? I asked, watching her type another response. Perfect. She reached across the table, squeezing my hand. I was thinking about your birthday next month. Maybe we should update your will before then, just to be safe? I met her eyes, searching for any trace of the woman I thought I'd married. There was nothing there but calculation. Sure, I said, smiling. Always good to be prepared. Later, after Todd was asleep, I made a call to the restaurant where we'd be celebrating her birthday next week. Everything was set. The private room, the hidden cameras, the live stream setup. One more thing, I told the manager. When I give the signal, I need you to play this audio file through your sound system. The one from your lawyer? Yes. And make sure every guest can hear it clearly. Especially the part about murder plans and stolen money. I hung up and looked at the framed photo on my desk. Angela, Todd, and me at the beach last summer. All lies. Every smile. Every moment. Happy birthday, honey, I whispered. Hope you like surprises. The Mercedes dealership manager beamed as I signed the paperwork. Mrs. Bennett will love it. Shall we add the bow? The biggest red bow you have, I said, pocketing the ownership documents Eduardo had carefully structured. It's her birthday present. Lucky woman, he said. If he only knew. Back home, Angela was in full party planning mode. The reservation at Sky Lounge is confirmed. I invited Jamie. All my training friends from the gym. Of course you did. I kissed her cheek, watching her try not to flinch. Want to see your first present early? Her eyes lit up, the same look she got whenever money was involved. I led her to the driveway where the new Mercedes sat, gleaming white with its massive red bow. Oh my God! She threw her arms around me. Neil, it's perfect! Over her shoulder, I saw Riley watching from Todd's bedroom window. She gave me a subtle thumbs up. The live stream test on Angela's phone had worked perfectly. I have to show Jamie, everyone. Angela pulled out her phone, snapping photos. Speaking of everyone, I said casually, I invited Eduardo and his wife. Hope that's okay? She faltered for just a second. Your lawyer, at my birthday. He's practically family. Like Jamie, right? She recovered quickly. Right. Of course. Her phone buzzed, Jamie's special notification tone. I need to make some calls about the party. Once she was inside, I checked my own phone. The spyware caught their exchange. Angela. He bought me a fucking Mercedes! Jamie. Perfect timing. We can sell it next week. Angela. His lawyer's coming to my party. Problem. Jamie. Nah. By the time anyone figures anything out, we'll be gone. I forwarded the exchange to Eduardo, adding, Everything ready. His response. Police on standby. CPS documents filed. Divorce papers ready. Restaurant staff briefed. Media tipped off. That evening, I found Todd in his room, playing with his dinosaurs. Hey, buddy. Want to sleep over at Riley's house tomorrow night? During Mommy's party? Yeah, Riley's got a special movie night planned. He looked down at his toys. Will Jamie be at the party? My heart clenched. You know Jamie. He comes over sometimes. Mommy says he's my real daddy, but it's a secret. His bottom lip trembled. Are you mad? I pulled him into a hug, fighting back tears. "Nobody. I'm not mad at you. Never at you." After tucking him in, I went to my office and opened the safe. Inside was everything. DNA results, bank statements, surveillance photos, recorded conversations, and Angela's detailed plans for what she thought was my accidental death. My phone buzzed. Eduardo again. Last chance to back out. I texted back, "No. She needs to feel what it's like to lose everything." Another buzz, this time from Angela. "Can't wait for tomorrow night. Love you so much." I opened the livestream app on my laptop, watching as it secretly recorded Angela in our bedroom. She was packing a small bag, hiding it in her closet. Emergency getaway kit, probably. "Love you too," I typed back, then opened my final checklist. Mercedes ownership papers, really in my name. Police report for future auto theft. CPS custody investigation. Divorce papers. Bank accounts transferred. Real crypto wallet emptied. Restaurant audio setup. Livestream test. Media alerted. Todd safe with Riley. Everything was ready. Tomorrow night, Angela's perfect world would shatter, just like she'd shattered mine. I poured a whiskey and raised it toward her, laughter drifting up from downstairs. "Happy birthday, sweetheart. Hope you enjoy the party." The Sky Lounge sparkled with city lights 40 stories up. Angela held court at the head of the table, radiant in her new red dress, champagne glass in hand. Jamie sat 3 seats away, trying not to stare at her too obviously. "Speech," someone called out. Angela stood, swaying slightly. "I just want to thank everyone for coming, especially my amazing husband." She touched my shoulder. "Neil, you've given me everything I ever wanted." "Not everything," I said quietly, but raised my glass. "Yet." Eduardo caught my eye from across the table and nodded slightly. "Showtime." "Actually," I stood up, phone in hand. "I have something special planned. Angela, you always say I never surprise you anymore." Her smile faltered. "Honey, you've done enough." "Oh, I insist." I tapped my phone. The restaurant's speakers crackled to life. "Once he's dead, that trust fund's mine." Angela's whispered voice filled the room. "He thinks the baby is his. What an idiot." The color drained from her face. Jamie's fork clattered onto his plate. What is this?" Angela's voice shook. "Keep listening," I said, as the recording continued. Her conversation with Jamie about their escape plans. Her discussion with Sylvia about Todd's real father. Her detailed instructions to Jamie about making my death look accidental. The room had gone completely silent. Every guest frozen, eyes darting between Angela and me. "Neil." She reached for my arm. "I can explain." I slid an envelope across the table. "Explain this." "The DNA test proving Todd isn't mine. Or maybe explain the $200,000 you stole. The offshore accounts? The life insurance policy you took out last month?" "You're making a scene," she hissed. "No, you did that yourself." I nodded to Eduardo, who stood up. "Mrs. Bennett," he said formally, "consider yourself served." He dropped a thick envelope in front of her. Divorce papers, restraining order, and notice of criminal charges for conspiracy and fraud. Angela lunged for her phone, probably to delete evidence, but stopped when she saw it was already live streaming to her Instagram. Her 200,000 followers were getting quite a show. "The Mercedes is in my name," I continued calmly. "The house, too. The crypto wallet you've been draining. A dummy account. The real one's empty." Jamie stood up suddenly. "I should go." "Sit down," I said. "The police want to talk to both of you about those interesting plans you made for my accident." As if on cue, 2 officers appeared at the doorway. Angela's brother Boston, who'd been silently watching, suddenly launched himself at Jamie. "You slept with my sister while she was married? Got her pregnant?" His fist connected with Jamie's jaw. "That's my nephew you've been lying to." The room erupted into chaos. Phones recorded everything. Angela screamed as the officers approached. Jamie tried to run, but slipped on spilled champagne. One more thing. I raised my voice over the commotion. Todd is safe with Riley. CPS has some questions about custody fraud. Angela's mascara ran down her face. You can't do this to me. Actually, you did this to yourself. I took off my wedding ring and set it next to her untouched cake. Happy birthday, Angela. Hope it was surprising enough. I walked out as the officers began reading rights. Through the glass walls, I saw camera flashes from the media Eduardo had tipped off. Angela's perfect world was crumbling, broadcast live to everyone she knew. My phone buzzed. A text from Riley. Todd's asleep. He's safe. I took the elevator down alone, Angela's screams fading behind me. In the lobby, Eduardo waited. Ready for phase 2? He asked. I nodded. Let's finish this. From my car, I watched Angela stumble out of the Sky Lounge, mascara streaked down her face. The media swarmed her immediately, shoving microphones forward. Mrs. Bennett, what about the murder conspiracy? Is it true about the paternity fraud? Did you really steal from your husband's company? She pushed through them, heading for her new Mercedes. That's when the police cruiser pulled up. Ma'am, is this your vehicle? An officer stepped out. Yes, my husband gave it to me today. Actually, I called from across the street, holding up the ownership papers. It's registered to me, and I'd like to report it stolen. Her scream of rage echoed off the buildings. As the officers approached with handcuffs, Jamie burst out of the restaurant. Angela, wait! He grabbed her arm. We need to talk about the money. Get off me, she shoved him. This is all your fault. My fault? Jamie's face reddened. You said Neil would never figure it out. You promised we'd be rich. Their argument drew an even bigger crowd. Phones recorded everything as Angela's carefully constructed facade crumbled completely. Rich? She laughed hysterically. You were just convenient, Jamie. Young, stupid, easy to manipulate. Jamie's expression darkened. What about Todd, our son? You think I ever wanted a kid? He was just leverage for Neil's money. The crowd gasped. Several people booed. I saw Boston, Angela's brother, pushing through the crowd. You used my nephew as a pawn? He grabbed Jamie's collar. And you helped her? The first punch sent Jamie sprawling. Security rushed to break up the fight, but not before Boston landed 2 more solid hits. My phone buzzed. Eduardo. CPS just arrived at your house? Angela's offshore accounts are frozen. Tax fraud investigation starts tomorrow. I watched as the officers led Angela toward their cruiser. She caught sight of me and lunged forward. I'll tell them everything, she screamed. About your business deals, your crypto schemes. You mean these? I held up my tablet, showing transfer records. Already submitted to the SEC, all legal, all documented. Unlike your transactions. Jamie, nursing a bloody nose, tried to slip away. Another police car pulled up. Mr. Morris, an officer stepped out. We have some questions about certain financial transactions and conspiracy to commit murder. Angela's face went from rage to fear. Jamie, don't you dare! Forget it, he spat blood. I'm not going down for you. I'll tell them everything. As if on cue, Sylvia emerged from the restaurant. I have texts, she announced loudly. Angela told me everything about their plans for Neil's accident. I've already sent them to the police. Angela slumped against the police car. Sylvia, you promised. I promised to be your friend, Sylvia said, not your accomplice in murder. The officers finally got Angela into the cruiser. Through the window, I saw her frantically trying to access her phone, probably to delete evidence. But the live stream had captured everything, and her Instagram followers had seen it all. Jamie was led to the second cruiser, still yelling about being used. Boston was giving his statement about the fight. Reporters continued filming everything. Sir? A young officer approached me. We'll need your statement. Of course. I handed him a USB drive. Here's everything. Financial records, recordings, text messages, emails. My lawyer will provide the rest tomorrow. As the police cars pulled away, Eduardo joined me on the sidewalk. The house is secured, he said. Bank accounts frozen. Her access revoked everywhere. I watched the taillights disappear around the corner. What about Todd? Safe with Riley. CPS will arrange supervised visits with Jamie's family tomorrow. My phone buzzed one last time. A news alert. Tech CEO's wife arrested. Murder plot, fraud, and paternity scandal exposed at birthday party. Happy birthday, Angela, I whispered, turning away from the chaos she'd created. Hope it was everything you deserved. The morning sun streamed through my new apartment's windows as I packed the last of Todd's toys. Riley would drop him off at his grandmother's house today. Jamie's mom had won temporary custody while everything got sorted out. My doorbell rang. Sylvia stood there holding a newspaper. Thought you might want to see this, she said, spreading it on my kitchen counter. The headline read, Tech Wife's Conspiracy Unravels. Multiple charges filed. How's she doing? I asked, not sure why I cared. Badly. Her lawyer quit after finding out she tried to contact Jamie against court orders. Boston won't speak to her. Her Instagram influencer contract's all cancelled. Sylvia sighed. The IRS is investigating every transaction she's made in the last 5 years. My phone buzzed. Eduardo. Jamie took the plea deal. He's testifying against Angela about the murder plot. Good, I said, showing Sylvia the message. He can visit Todd in prison. Neil. Sylvia hesitated. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. About them. About Todd. You did the right thing in the end. That's what matters. The doorbell rang again. Riley entered with Todd, his dinosaur backpack clutched tight. Hey, buddy, I knelt down. Ready to see Grandma? He nodded, then suddenly threw his arms around my neck. Will you still be my daddy sometimes? The room got blurry. I'll always care about you, Todd. Always. After Riley left with him, I opened my laptop to find dozens of message notifications. Former business partners expressing support. Friends offering help. Even Boston had written, apologizing for not seeing through his sister's schemes. The trust fund transfer is complete, Eduardo said, walking in without knocking. Everything's going to the children's education charity, as requested. Good. I closed the laptop. What about the Mercedes? Police impounded it as evidence of attempted fraud. Angela's facing additional charges for trying to ship it overseas. My phone lit up with a news alert. Social media influencer Angela Bennett faces additional federal charges. She lost everything, Sylvia said quietly. No, I corrected her. She never had anything real to lose. It was all built on lies. Eduardo placed a final document on my counter. Last piece of business. The divorce is final. You're free. I signed where he pointed, then stood at my window overlooking the city. Below, life went on. People rushed to work. Couples held hands. Parents walked with children. All those real connections I'd thought I had. Want to know the funny thing? I turned to them. I actually thank her now. Thank her. Sylvia looked shocked. She taught me what matters. Truth, loyalty, real love. I picked up Todd's forgotten toy dinosaur. Even if it hurts, truth is better than comfortable lies. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Riley. Todd's safe at his grandmother's. He asked me to send you this. Below was a photo of Todd smiling, holding up a drawing. In crayon he'd written, "Thank you for being nice to me." You're a good man, Neil, Sylvia said, squeezing my arm. You'll find real happiness again. I already have. I gestured around the sunlit apartment. No more lies, no more pretending, just truth and consequences. Eduardo gathered his papers. Speaking of consequences, Angela's sentencing is next week. I won't be there, I said. I'm done watching her perform. After they left, I placed Todd's dinosaur on my shelf, a reminder that sometimes losing what you thought you had leads you to something more genuine. My laptop pinged with a final email. Children's Education Trust Fund, Donation confirmed. I smiled, closing the laptop. Angela had tried to bury me in betrayal. Instead, she'd taught me how to rise above it.